You may be pushed down. You may be kept from rising, but no one can keep you from lifting your heart toward heaven. No one can keep you from lifting your heart toward heaven, only you. So the very essence of a path of refuge is a quite kind of prayerfulness that no matter what's happening, whether we're threatened by mortality in a more immediate way or losing someone we love or in some other great struggle, no matter how down we feel, the message is we can always, always turn towards refuge. And whether we think of heaven as out there or the heaven of really this awakening heart, it's here. So that's the message. No one can keep you from lifting your heart towards heaven, only you. And I think of this turning towards the refuge of presence as not an efforting. When we say lifting our heart, it's kind of got this quality, and I almost think of it as taking my heart and my being and my ego self with two hands and just, it's an offering into something larger, into that which is sacred. Lifting our heart towards heaven. So the one of the ways of describing this path is of remembering that when we get in trouble, we remember to turn towards presence. And what ends up causing and perpetuating suffering is that we have a lot of conditioning to forget. And instead of, when we're in trouble, turning towards something that has to do with loving more fully, connecting with others, being really here, we tend to leave. And there's three primary ways we leave. I often talk about our kind of defense strategies in terms of a spacesuit self, where we have entered this Earth environment, and it's not so easy. And we have to figure out a way to get through. And this is a spacesuit self is another way of saying the egoic self. And so we develop these strategies to navigate. And there are three basic strategies that really apply to all creatures, all organisms that are trying to make it through. And their spacesuits have different levels of complexity, but you can see it in terms of the three parts of our brain, our strategies to make it through. And the core, the brainstem, the reptilian brain, the strategy is to avoid harm at all costs. Now that's our most powerful and pervasive strategy, that we're going around trying to avoid harm. And so you can imagine a lizard that's diving for shelter under a rock. That's one strategy that we have. The other strategy is the mammalian brain, the limbic brain, which is actually seeking nourishment, seeking something that enlarges and seeking something that enhances existence. And you might imagine a squirrel collecting acorns. And then the primate part of our brain, the cortex, is there for attachment and connection. That's what creates safety and security. So you might consider this egoic self as having those three strategies, and that they're often adaptive and they're our best choice, but then they can get outmoded and turn into something that really causes trouble. So the lizard brain gets very habituated to protecting itself by lying or by exaggerating or procrastinating or attacking or judging. And for most of us, our lizard brain is just plain fixating on what's going to go wrong. The lizard brain's the part of us that just keeps habitually worrying and anticipating something bad around the corner. Some of you might remember this prank played by a bunch of students in a Montana school. They released 3 goats into the school, and they put numbers on the goat. Number 1, number 3, and number 4. They released them in, and the teachers spent the whole day looking for goat number 2. Something's wrong. So that's our lizard brain. It's always looking for what's going to go wrong. And sadly, it occupies a lot of our time. And then we have the mammalian part of our brain. Remember, that's the squirrel going for the acorns. And we're going for reward. So we overeat or we get addicted to surfing the internet or gaming or alcohol, or for many people, it's a kind of obsessive fantasy on what I need, what'll make me feel better. It's a narrowed attention. There's a saying in India that when a pickpocket sees a saint, he or she sees the saint's pocket, right? So when we're in this mammalian brain and it's the shadow side of it, we're kind of fixated on I want, I need, and we're missing out on what's really real.